I'd like to welcome everyone again to the 2021 Canada Soccer Hall of Fame special presentation featuring legends from Canada Soccer's women's national team. Today's celebration honors 8 superstars and enshrines them to the highest honor roll in our sport, the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame. Canada Soccer has honored 8 legends from the early days of its women's national team with the induction to the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame. Marking the 35th anniversary of Canada Soccer's women's national team, the 8 legends represent Canada's landmark first decade of international football from the original selections in 1986 through to Canada's first participation at the FIFA Women's World Cup in 1995. Sue Brand from Edmonton, Alberta. A 5-time national championships winner, Sue Brand was a top player at the FIFA Women's Invitational Tournament in 1988, and then won a silver medal at the 1991 CONCACAF Women's Championship. She was the only player that featured in every Canada international minute from December 1987 to April 1991. Annie Caron from the La des Amours, Quebec. A national championships winner, Annie Caron was one of 6 original members of Canada Soccer's women's national team in 1986 that also represented Canada at the FIFA Women's World Cup Sweden 1995. She was Canada's joint goal-scoring leader after the women's national team's program first 6 seasons. Carla Chin Baker from Scarborough and Aurora, Ontario. A 2-time runner-up at Canada Soccer's national championships, Carla Chin Baker was one of 6 original members from Canada Soccer's women's national team in 1986 that also represented Canada at the FIFA Women's World Cup, Sweden 1995. She was Canada's all-time goalkeeper leader in International A appearances from 1986 to 1997. Janet Lemieux from Edmonton, Alberta. A 4-time national championships winner, Janet Lemieux was an original member of Canada Soccer's women's national team in 1986. She played for Canada in every international minute in 1986 and 1987 until she was forced out through injury. Luce Mongrain from Trois-Rivières, Quebec. A 3rd-place finisher at Canada Soccer's national championships, Luce Mongrain was in fact Canada Soccer's women's national team's youngest international at age 16 in 1987. She won 2 CONCACAF silver medals and featured for Canada at the FIFA Women's World Cup Sweden 1995. Suzanne Muir from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. A national championships winner, Suzanne Muir was one of 7 Canadians that featured at the FIFA Women's World Cup at Sweden 1995 and USA 1999. The first Nova Scotia player inducted to the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame, she helped Canada win the 1998 CONCACAF Women's Championship. Cathy Ross from Coquitlam, British Columbia. A national championships winner, Cathy Ross was one of 6 original members from Canada Soccer's women's national team in 1986 that also represented Canada at the FIFA Women's World Cup Sweden 1995. She was the only player to feature in every women's national team international A match from 1986 to 1991. Sue Simon from Edmonton, Alberta. A joint record 6-time national championships winner, Sue Simon was the women's national team original starting goalkeeper in 1986, including an MVP performance in Canada's first international win against USA. She once held Canada Soccer's all-time record for clean sheets at the national championships. Please join us in congratulating these 8 Canada legends on their induction to the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame. Welcome and introduce Ken McLean, Chair of the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame Operational Committee, who will welcome this year's class to the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame.
On behalf of Canada Soccer, we'd like to congratulate this group of first-class athletes who have been honored by the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame for their incredible impact on the game at both the national and international levels. Canada Soccer have been pioneers and leaders in women's soccer over the past 40 years. From the adoption of the first national championships in 1982, the inauguration of the women's national team in 1986, and hosting back-to-back CONCACAF women's championships in 1994 and 1998. Canada since hosted the inaugural FIFA Under-19 Women's World Championship in 2002, the FIFA U20 Women's World Cup Canada 2014, and the record-setting FIFA Women's World Cup Canada 2015. The 8 legends who have been honored this year are both pioneers and champions of women's soccer, from their communities to their clubs and to the national women's team. They were the stars of our first national championships, our first women's national team, the first CONCACAF Women's Championships, and our first participation in the FIFA's World Cup Sweden 1995. Canada have never looked back, taking part in 7 straight editions of the FIFA Women's World Cup and now 4 straight Olympic Games. We congratulate this year's class on their remarkable careers and the lasting legacy they built for Canada Women's Soccer National Team.
Well, let's meet this year's Canada Soccer Hall of Fame honored members. And we will start with, still the youngest in the group, Luce Mongrain. You featured at the FIFA Women's World Cup Sweden 1995, won 2 CONCACAF silver medals, and you were the youngest Canadian international debutante at just 16 years of age, a record you held for 13 years until Christine Sinclair made her debut in 2000. When you left the international game in 1995, you ranked 7th all-time in international A appearances for Canada. So what are some of the highlights from your soccer journey, and what or who inspired you to reach such a high level to play for Canada?
My highlights were when I first started in Taiwan when I was 16. I didn't speak English at the time. To me, that was a major highlight. Obviously, the 1991 CONCACAF, the first CONCACAF in Haiti. It was the first tournament, the first official tournament, which was for the first Women's World Cup. And then obviously my last tournament, the World Cup. And prior to the World Cup, we had the CONCACAF in Montreal. And it was the first time the team was together for many weeks. It was a great experience. And those were the highlights, finishing with the 1995 World Cup in Sweden. My inspiration at the time, when we go back in those years, we didn't have women's soccer on TV. There were no commercials for women's athletes on TV either. So my inspiration were my teammates, the people I played with, and the coaches that helped me out during that journey. And they were so generous. And I was very fortunate to have exceptional people cross my path. So I'm very thankful and grateful to that. And I want to thank them today. I want to thank all those coaches and friends and teammates, and obviously my parents who were always there for me, my husband, and today my daughters. I sincerely want to thank you. It's a privilege to share this journey also with exceptional women, my teammates. Deep thoughts for them today. They were pioneers, ambassadors, and through their action and behaviors they left a legacy for the next soccer generation. And to me, that's something special. And I also want to thank the other 7 teammates that shared this event with me today. And I'm thankful and I'm grateful. And like I was saying in French, to me, soccer was and remains a school of life. And thank you, Canada Soccer, for everything you've done for us. And I'm thankful.
What did it mean to you to wear the Canada shirt, and what message would you give to today's generation of players?
What it meant to me to wear the Canada jersey was a real privilege. Canada is such a great country. With that privilege comes, however, a responsibility to be a good ambassador of the country. And that's how I experienced it. But I feel fortunate to have wear the Canada jersey. And for the future generation, what I always say is, when you use the terminology soccer, you use the verb play. So you're playing soccer. It should be fun. So play for the love of the game. Play for the passion. Without love for the game and without passion, people stop playing. We don't want that. So please play for the right reasons and play and enjoy yourself. That would be as simple as that. Play for the game. Play for the love of the game.
I want to take you back to the pitch. You played center back, you played outside full back. What was your favorite position? And maybe just tell us a little bit about, kind of the skill that you and your teammates had in that back line.
I really like the center back. I like being aggressive. I like the physical play. I like to take the other people on. I had such great teammates. I have great memories of my teammates, and that was my favorite position because of that. It is still known, but was well known for working hard and not being afraid to challenge themselves. There were no comparison at that time. We had the luxury of not being compared because we were the first ones. So to me, it was a great group. We had the love for the game, and we just played it because we had that passion. We all felt, I believe, privileged and to play the game together. Every event was such a special time. And I think we were hard workers, and we wanted to learn also because it was the beginning of ascent. So, but great memories with hardworking ladies.
Thank you, Luce, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Suzanne Muir, you're a CONCACAF champion, a two-time FIFA World Cup participant, a Canada Soccer National Championships Jubilee Trophy winner, and the first Nova Scotia footballer inducted to the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame. When you left international football in 1999, you ranked tied for 9th all-time in international A appearances for Canada. Suzanne, what are some of the highlights from your soccer journey, and what or who inspired you to reach such a high level to play for Canada?
Thanks, Gloria. Well, it's so hard. I don't even know where to begin because there's so many highlights. And I guess I want to start by recognizing my fellow inductees. I'm just so proud to be with you here today. I listened to you, Luce, and the passion, and it just brings back a lot of memories. To the members currently and very esteemed members in the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame, I feel very honored to be amongst those individuals and with my teammates today. So thank you, Soccer Canada, for this moment and opportunity. So now, as far as representing your country, it is an absolute privilege. And there's just so many memories in my journey that have shaped it. So I'm going to start with my roots. I'm a proud Maritimer, and I played from youth to adulthood on the soccer fields of Nova Scotia. And we weren't just a team. We were and remain a family who grew up together. And our coach, John, and his wife, Donna, they invested their hearts and time into us, shaping us not only as individuals, but as a team. My soccer journey would continue to St. Mary's University in Halifax, where we would go on to win an AUA championship in my final year. It was that year I silently dedicated in the honor of our late mother, and I'll never forget others' kindness and the pride I still feel for our team, seeing the banner hung in the rafters today. Wearing the Canadian jersey for the first time, and later winning the 1998 CONCACAF Women's Championship, played before a home crowd of almost 5,000 people in Toronto, was such a highlight for me. To this day, I can still hear my teammates, the roar of the crowd, and the sound of my young nephew, Christopher, and sisters' voices, encouraging us all on through exhaustion to a 1-0 victory over Mexico. This will always form one of my greatest soccer memories. The preparation leading up and attending the 1995 World Cup in Sweden and 1999 US World Cup was such an incredible experience and pinnacle. And it was life-changing. And it was so exciting to see the women's game continue to evolve and grow. To even try to thank the people who influenced and inspired me to play at a higher level. My mother, sisters, father, forever supportive family and friends. I just want to thank you for your unwavering love, support, and belief in me always. And to my coaches, support staff who gave so selflessly, I hope you always know the difference you made in growing me and shaping me as a player and person. And thank you, Sylvie and Neil, for believing me and allowing me to represent my country. And to my teammates, thank you for challenging and inspiring me. I'm so grateful for the laughter, sweat, and tears shared, through which life-lasting memories, connections, and friendships were formed. And In many ways, it seems so strange to be accepting an individual award for a team sport, but please know today I accept and I share this award with all of you.
Thank you. Can you tell me more about what it meant to you to wear that Canada shirt, and what message would you give to today's generation players?
I think to wear the Canadian jersey is just such a privilege and an honor to hear your national anthem and see your country's flag rise. It just evokes so many different emotions. And, you know, immense pride is one, responsibility and a real sense of honor. So, and it's unforgettable. And my message today, I think, for the generation of next players, and especially youth, is dream big and be and believe in yourself, work hard, respect the game and others, and have fun. And I hope for everyone that you give more to the game and others than you take for yourself. So enjoy the experiences, cherish the moments, and embrace the journey.
Thank you, Suzanne, and congratulations.
You had the skill and the talent to play more than one position in your time for Canada. Of course, you're noted for your outstanding speed, you know, way that you could, you know, shut down players like Mia Hamm. But just tell us a little bit about your favorite position and some of maybe the highlights in terms of, you know, on that pitch.
I think with any team, you know, as many players, I began my career sort of in a front line through the midfield and played as a defender. Probably my favorite position was when you were most involved in the game and in offense and defense. But I think on a team and as a player, you fill the role, and the role that hopefully you're best able to support your team and others, and just grateful for that opportunity, and grateful for the teammates that surround you within the team and all of the other people, because that's the real experience and value.
And last question, just we kind of joke, but you probably had one of the most important throw-ins in the history of Canadian soccer. You know, your throw-in down the right side in that Mexico match, taking down the line, crossover, and Liz Smith scores the winning goal against Mexico in the 1998 CONCACAF Championship. What was the high coming out of that match? I know your family was there, which made it more special, but just how big was it winning that title in front of a packed crowd in Toronto?
Yeah, I just, that experience, it was just so meaningful. I think in many ways, so much soccer had been continuing to build, and people had pioneered it and pushed it forward. And I think it was just a really special moment in the history of soccer and women's soccer in Canada, and a momentum that just continued to carry forward. So definitely a very special day, and sharing that and having that experience with teammates was incredibly special.
Thank you, Suzanne. Congratulations. Gloria?
Cathy Ross, the original number 12. You represented Canada at the first FIFA Women's World Cup, Sweden, 1995. You won a silver medal at the first CONCACAF Women's Championship, and you were the only footballer to feature in all 24 Canada International A matches from 1986 to 1991. When you left the international game in 1995, you ranked tied for 4th all-time in international A appearances for Canada. What are some of your highlights for your soccer journey, and what or who inspired you to reach such a high level to play for Canada?
I just want to say it's very challenging to follow Luce and Suzanne because they're very expressive, and I've always been inspired by their ability to talk about how they feel inside. But one of my strengths was to be prepared, and I would just like to read something that I think might cover off the answer to that question and in words that I can express. First of all, I wish to sincerely thank the Canadian Soccer Association for the honor of being inducted into the 2021 Canada Soccer Hall of Fame. I am humbled to be acknowledged alongside my 7 teammates and fellow inductees with whom I've had the privilege of playing the game with. To all the passionate people who came before me and served as a source of inspiration for making the game bigger and the stage brighter so I could follow my dreams to represent Canada, a huge thank you. I wish to express my utmost gratitude to the many coaches and mentors who collaboratively helped me arrive at this moment. To British Columbia provincial coach Len Coombs for realizing that I had a stronger potential as a central defender than as a center forward. To Simon Fraser University coach Shelley Howison for her support and guidance. And many thanks to national team coach Neil Turnbull for selecting me to play on the first Canadian national women's team in 1986, and for developing me into the best player I could be. To Gail Amort Larson, your generous support and care when I moved to train in Edmonton was instrumental in my success. I am so grateful to you. Thank you to friends Jared Donnelly and Joan McEachern for your unwavering kindness and friendship. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all my teammates. I am so proud of what we accomplished together. You have all given me more gifts than I could ever give back, and have been instrumental in my growth, both as a player and as a person. To the national team players and coaches who came after me, you've continued to reinvent the game and are a source of pride and inspiration to all Canadians everywhere. Because of your efforts, women's soccer in Canada will never be the same. Thank you for your ongoing commitment to move the women's game forward. And lastly, to my daughter, Allie, although you did not see me play on the field, my hope is that you will be inspired to find your own strength and confidence to create experiences and memories that encompass the values of friendship, hard work, compassion, love, respect, and perseverance, as I was so fortunate enough to have done.
What did it mean to wear the Canada shirt, and what message would you give to today's generation of players?
It was, like my teammates have said, it was both an honor and a privilege to proudly wear the Canadian shirt. And I'm forever grateful that I experienced the incredible opportunities that it gave me, not only on the field, but off the field. It also served as a front row seat to experiencing many other countries in the world at a time where, they weren't even open to tourism. So back then we got a front row seat to, places like Taiwan and China and Bulgaria, places that, not a lot of tourists got to go, but we had the privilege of doing so. As far as to what I would tell future generations, I would tell them to commit to working hard. I would say be positive and take advantage of every opportunity you have to improve and to just get experience.
Thank you, Cathy.
Thank you, Cathy. I'll ask just one question for you. And just in terms of the skill, I mean, you could play center back, you could play on the outside back, your positioning, tackling skills, heading, these are all things that were noted. What stood out, or what do you remember best in terms of that back four, you and your teammates on the Canadian line?
Oh, wow. So I just need to correct you, Richard. I played center back. That's what I did. I played center back and stopper. I was kind of a one-dimensional player in there, and my job was to be the stopper. I played on the outside, and I did the best I could, but I was mostly a center person. But that was my home. That was in the middle of the field around the people that supported me the most. And, I had fabulous people on that back line. I had Luce, I had Susie, I had Janet behind me, who, was instrumental in telling a lost center forward what I needed to do on the back line. So just really grateful to have those opportunities.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, and congratulations. Gloria?
Carla Chin Baker. You represented Canada at the FIFA Women's World Cup Sweden 1995, won 2 CONCACAF silver medals, and were Canada's one-time record holder for clean sheets. When you left international football, you ranked first all-time in Canada goalkeeper appearances at the international A level. What are some highlights for you that inspired you through your soccer journey to play such a high level for Canada?
Good afternoon. The highlights with Canada soccer include the first Canada soccer women's national team selection camp in 1986 with 5 of my Ontario soccer teammates, traveling the world with my Canada soccer teammates. In 1991, the CONCACAF tournament in Haiti, the 1994 CONCACAF tournament where we qualified in Montreal, where we qualified for the 1995 World Cup, Women's World Cup in Sweden. I was inspired to play for Canada with Ontario soccer, and I was driven to improve every day. I would like to thank my parents, family, teammates at the Ontario soccer level, and my national teammates from 86 till 97, and my fellow Canada Soccer Hall of Fame inductees for their love and support on my soccer journey.
What did it mean for you to wear the Canada shirt, and what message would you give to today's generation of players?
The opportunity to represent Canada soccer and wear the Canada jersey was the greatest honor of my athletic career. The message I would give to today's players is to develop a competitive growth mindset early, focus on being present and in the moment in all aspects of their life, control the controllables, and find joy in your journey. I am grateful to Canada Soccer Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you, Carla. Just one more question, and we know you were an outstanding goalkeeper, quick off the line, fantastic position. Just tell us a little bit about how you played and how you worked with your back four, and keeping those clean sheets and doing such a marvelous job for Canada in those early days.
Well, I definitely have to credit the defensive line in front of me for saving me on many, many, many occasions. But I think my best attribute would be communication, trying to organize them, demanding them to get to their spots when they needed to be there and present. And then just as a unit, just working our tails off every single day to improve and to be all on the same page.
Thank you and congratulations.
Sue Brand, you were quite a force along the back line, whether it was playing left back, center back, or even right back. You represented Canada at the first FIFA International Tournament in 1988 and won a silver medal at the first CONCACAF Women's Championship in 1991. At the club level, you were a 5-time Canada Soccer National Championships winner with the Edmonton Angels. What are some highlights for you through your soccer journey, and what or who inspired you to reach such a high level to play for Canada?
Hi. Some of my highlights would be the start of every game that I played, standing at the center field wearing the Canadian jersey and listening to the national anthem. It was such an amazing feeling. It's hard to really put those into words, and it's something I'll never forget. The one game I do remember the most was in the China game. There was a crowd of like 45,000 people. So it was quite amazing to look around and see all those people, and they had the big screen. So for me, that was like first and last. So that was quite amazing. I would like to thank my parents who instilled the love of the game in me at such a young age. My sister, who was an amazing player, I played with her for many years on the Angel Soccer Club. She was my inspiration, and I always loved playing with her and wish I could still do it. But I also would like to thank my coaches, Stuart Brown of the Angels and Neil Turnbull of the national team. They taught me discipline, They taught me teamwork and many other essential qualities, and that I needed to play at such a high level of soccer. To every teammate with that I stepped onto the field with, I'd like to thank you for your sacrifice, your dedication, and know that you had a big impact on me as a player, and I will cherish every moment of that. And I would also like to thank the Soccer Association, or I'd like to thank the Soccer Canada. It has been a privilege to be acknowledged, and I am forever indebted to be included in this Hall of Fame with all the other inductees.
Tell us what it meant for you to wear the Canada shirt, and what message would you give to today's generation of players?
Like everybody else, it was a great honor to be wearing that. It was amazing. And again, it was a privilege just to be standing there with everybody else, knowing that they worked just as hard as everybody else to get up there. For the youth, I just want to say that I was proud to be a pioneer, and would tell each and every one of these young soccer players to dream big, work hard, live in the moment, and just enjoy the game to the fullest.
Thank you, Sue. I'll ask just one more question, and just maybe a little bit about family. You're a next generation footballer. Your dad played in the Western Canada League in Edmonton. And then your sister, of course, was playing with the Angels when you joined that club at age 17. Just tell us a little bit what it was like growing up football in your family, and then getting to play with your sister.
Oh, it was amazing. It was so nice to be playing with my sister. Well, just being brought up, I guess, with the soccer life with my dad. At one point, all of us, there was like 6 kids and the 2 parents. We all actually played at one time, so that was kind of fun. Not everybody continued on, but to be able to play with Anita later on in life, once I hit the 17, I was doing not so much before that, but it was so amazing to be able to play with her. She was an amazing player. It was just something I guess you don't always get to do, is play with your sister, and I really look up to her, and she was a great inspiration for where I am now, or where I got to go.
Thank you so much, Sue. Congratulations again.
Annie Caron, you represented Canada at the FIFA Women's World Cup Sweden 1995, won 2 CONCACAF silver medals, and were once the joint record holder for Canada goals. When you left the international game in 1995, you ranked tied for 4th all-time in international A appearances for Canada. What are some of your highlights from your soccer journey, and who inspired you to reach such a high level to play for Canada?
I like how you come up with these statistics that I never knew existed, but thank you for bringing those up. Some of the highlights of my career, I have to say, and I think we share this with all my teammates, is the Chinese Cup was a big one for us in 1988. Yes, for the 40,000 fans at our opening game. But it's also where we realized that how far we'd come together. We also realized that this tournament it marked a real change for the future of our sport. Women's soccer was welcome on the world stage due to the performance and the enthusiasm of the crowds in China. Then I had 1991 CONCACAF, a silver medal, was incredibly rewarding. It was a very difficult tournament or competition. Our teammates were hit with some food poisoning, but through these hard times, I saw my teammates come together and show so much strength of character. And you know, I add to that, have fond memories of my my performance in that CONCACAF. I scored 4 goals, and I was on fire, and I was able to celebrate this with a group of incredible ladies. It takes me to the CONCACAF in 1994, another silver medal. And this one was special because I got to play on my home fields with my special friends in the stands, my family. That adds, it gives you strength. It's humbling, and I'm taking this opportunity to thank everybody that's always rallied behind me. I have the last the 95 World Cup is my last highlight. I had finally reached my goal to play in a World Cup, but I also realized that I was leaving the sport in a better place. We had really developed as a team, and were able to prove that we can play on the international stage. I was confident that my teammates would, keep the ball rolling and push the sport even further.
Tell me what it meant for you to wear the Canada shirt, and what message would you give to today's generation of players?
The Canada shirt was a symbol for me, a symbol that I had worked hard. I had dedicated my time to something that I loved. And it was also an honor. It always came with a big lump in my throat and a queasy stomach. But I think every time I wore that jersey, I took the time to think back and thank those that had helped me get there. I had a hard time ever imagining losing the privilege of wearing that number.
Annie, just tell us, watching the game today, you got to wear number 11, and of course we've got another special number 11 on the pitch, but what's it like now watching today's generation of women's national team players?
I admire them. I admire them for what they stand for. I think they're incredible ambassadors for women's soccer. And I think you're referring to Desiree Scott. I do have a special attention for her, not just because we share the same number, but I think we may have come across a few things that are similar in our pathway. I think she made a return to the game, and the way I see her progress since she came back, I'm sure she doesn't regret it. I love the way she plays. I love the way she is kind of a no-nonsense player, keeps things simple and makes things happen. I would think that she can create a lot of opportunities for her teammates, and I wish her all the best. I think she has had a great career so far, and to the whole team, I know that you're kind of fed up with the bronze medal, and all they have to do is bring home a gold. So good luck, and go for gold.
Thank you, Annie, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Janet Lemieux, our original sweeper from our first women's national team in 1986. You were a 4-time Canada Soccer National Championships Jubilee Trophy winner and a 5-time Alberta Cup winner with the great Edmonton Angels team from 1980s. You're part of our first ever 2-1 win over the United States in 1986, and you played every minute for Canada from Minnesota in 1986 to Taiwan in 1987 before you suffered an injury. What are some of your highlights from your soccer journey, and what or who inspired you to reach such a high level to play for Canada?
Well, I guess I can start by saying that being inducted into the Hall of Fame is certainly one of my highlights of my soccer journey. And I'd like to really thank the Canadian Soccer Association for for recognizing all of us pioneer players who started women's soccer so very long ago. I also, one of the many highlights of my soccer was the many teammates and players that I had the joy of playing with, including these awesome 7 inductees. I can't thank enough for Stuart Brown, the coach of the Edmonton Angels, for recognizing me as having some potential in soccer quite late in my adult life and bringing me along to the Angels, and then getting to meet such a fantastic group of women. Women who really were breaking the barriers. It wasn't a popular thing to play women's soccer back then, but we all had such passion for the game, and we didn't really care what other people thought. We were just going to go out and play the very best soccer that we can. And I think once the Angels and all our teammates won the first national championship, they weren't going to give up easy. So I was very pleased to be included amongst that group. And then to have the opportunity to be recognized by the Alberta Soccer Association and by Neil Turnbull as a potential national team player. And then my journey just grew from there. I can say that there were a few key soccer players that really influenced me and brought me along. And I have to say that I don't like to name people because everyone was so important, but Tracy David we played defense together on the Angels, and she's been such an advocate for women's soccer throughout my life. And she brought me into coaching, learning how to coach in soccer and just be a really awesome player. Jerry Donnelly, Joan McEachran, Cathy Ross, Sue Brand, Sue Simon, Carla, everyone, you all really inspired me to try and reach the very best level that I could. So I really want to thank all the inductees and all the national team members. I guess the other person that I have to recognize is all those volunteers and people in my past that somehow just took them extra time to direct me to various sports that I could excel in. And I want coaches and volunteers and people to know that they play such an important role in youth and soccer. So take that extra time and help people really become involved and passionate about sports. It can lead to excellence. So my highlights, to go back to my highlights of soccer, of course, the biggest highlights were winning the national championships with the Angels, but also playing against the Americans for those first 2 tournaments in Minnesota. It's really fantastic to say I played against Mia Hamm. I can tell my boys that, and they recognize who Mia Hamm is. And then also traveling to Taiwan. That was an amazing experience to actually go abroad and play these other teams. It made being part of the national team seem really real. We actually had audiences and people there, so that was an awesome experience as well.
What did it mean for you to wear the Canada shirt, and what message would you give to today's generation of players?
Well, wearing the Canadian shirt was the pinnacle of achievement for all of us players. We couldn't play for fame, we couldn't play for money, we played for passion and for the love of the game. And so it was such an honor for me to put on the Canadian shirt and strive to be the best I could for myself, but also for the whole Canadian team and to represent Canada. I think my message would be is if you have a passion for something, whether it be soccer or anything, dream big and go for that passion. You will never regret doing your very best at whatever you're doing. And along that journey, you will, just by trying and doing your very best, you will meet the most amazing people. You will have the most amazing experiences, and you can look back and be proud of what you did. And I think everyone in this group of players, and whoever played for the national team, can all say that they feel so proud that they were part of that legacy.
Janet, one of the things that players and coaches have told me about you as a center back was, as a multi-sport athlete, you could tell the spin on the ball when it was coming in was one of the little strengths that you had. And so how did that, and you weren't the only player that played more than one sport. So how did that, kind of cross, sport experience help when it came to playing for Canada and playing for the Angels?
Well, it certainly did help. And you have to remember, I grew up in the 70s. I'm probably one of the older players, and there was no soccer. There was no girls soccer at all. So I played boys soccer in the community league. And then later I went into track and field. And that's where I really learned dedication and how to train. And I also played tennis. So, and I had such inspirational people along that journey. One of my best friends was on the Canadian national track and field team and represented Canada in the Seoul Olympics. So just having all of those different sports come together, I feel like it brought me a certain level of maturity and depth when I started the team at kind of an older age. And I could apply all of those things I learned from different sports, from all the coaches that I had throughout my career, and bring that to the field. And I can't be thankful enough to the people that you mentioned, Stuart Brown and Neil Turnbull and Gail Amort Larson and Tracy and Joan. Everyone, you don't win an award like this alone. You only win awards like this through everyone that surrounds you. So I'm grateful to everyone.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thanks.
Sue Simon, our first women's national team goalkeeper, but first a national championships Jubilee Trophy winner with the Edmonton Angels. You were the most valuable player of our first international victory against USA on July 9th, 1986, and you were a 6-time national championship with the Angels and were a 1-time record holder for clean sheets at the national championships. What are some of your highlights for your soccer journey, and who inspired you to reach such a high level to play for Canada?
Well, some of my highlights were, definitely at an early age, playing with the Angels and winning all those national titles that we did. And then, of course, making the first ever Canada team was just beyond. And also carrying the flag at the opening ceremonies at the first tournament that we were at, that was just, that just meant the world. And of course, winning that second game. Also, a highlight in my career is later on is playing in 3 different divisions. Like I played with the women's teams. I was recruited down from the classics, but I got to play with my nieces, Cassie and Sam JC. Like it was, and then to play classics and then to play vintage over 45. I'm not trying to age myself, but those are definitely highlights for me.
What did it mean to you to wear the Canada Soccer shirt, and what message would you give to today's generation of players?
It was a dream come true for me. The feeling of putting on the jersey, walking in the parade, again, carrying the flag, was something I will treasure for the rest of my life. And for today's generation, I'm going to try to keep it short because that's okay, is to have fun, come prepared, support your teammates, and be a sponge. Soak up all the advice and respect your coaches, teammates, and fans, whether you win or lose.
Thank you, Sue. I will squeeze in one more question for you. First, before you even played for Canada, you were recognized, and Stuart Brown said it, you were one of the best, if not the best in Canada, from your age, from your era. So just in terms of growing up, and I think the answer is probably very similar for everybody, and playing for a team for, probably 15 years with the Angels, how did that team be more than just teammates, but, family members, and what do they mean to you in terms of when you think back to those teammates, both at the club level as well as the national team level?
It was a very special time for me. Again, being recruited to play for the Angels, and like we trained a lot together, but what made it special is a lot of us spent a lot of time together, even off the pitch. And we would go out, and there's a bunch of us that would train over and above what was necessary. But we were a family. We did everything together. There was actually a lot of my teammates went to university, U of A, and they rented Stuart Brown's house, and we called that the Angel House. So a lot of times what we would do is we would spend a lot of time there, even the ones that, many of us who didn't live there, we would spend a lot of time there. And no, it was, like I said, it was a family, and that's why we bonded so well.
Thank you, Sue, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. This brings our 2021 Canada Soccer Hall of Fame special presentation to a close. For all 8 of our legends, we thank you for everything you have done for sport in your communities, in Canada, and on the world stage. Never forgotten, you will forever be remembered as honored members of the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you to our newest honored members of the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame, Sue Brand, Annie Caron, Carla Chin Baker, Janet Lemieux, Luce Mongrain, Suzanne Muir, Cathy Ross, and Sue Simon. It will be our honor and privilege to shine a light on your legacy to sport in Canada. Thank you.